now the issue probably on most of our minds, tuition. How, how would you advocate preventing an increase in tuition? Start with the candidate on the right.
It's me. So well, I don't know if it's this year, but now the Board of Trustees has the ability to set our own tuition, regardless of the state and how much cuts or funding cuts happen there. So I think the first step is to start talking with the Board of Trustees and addressing the concerns of the students that tuition's already high enough, we can't let it keep going any higher. But I think the second step to that is working with our legislative liaison and our legislative affairs representative to continue the lobby day efforts that we've done with WSA. This year we had a great success. We went there. There was a state proposed budget cut of $2 billion. We now have a 0% cut to higher ed. So I think continuing those efforts, it definitely helps, because if we don't get state funded cuts, then we're less likely to get increases here on campus from the Board of Trustees.
You have 4 minutes to reply.
Okay, actually, because I was asking many of the students, and even I asked Caleb, I know that there's like few things we could do to decrease the intuition, but the thing we could do is actually empowering the student to speak. When there is any kind of increasing in the intuition, they must speak, and we must like take this message and take it to Olympia and discuss whoever we need to discuss with it to keep it as it is, or maybe if we like become one of the the university that high ranking, we're gonna get like more without any kind of budget cut, which is a good news that we didn't had it this year.
And then 2 minutes for reply.
Yeah, so definitely the students' voice is a big concern. The state legislators aren't going to care about us if we don't go and say anything to them. The Board of Trustees are not going to care about us if we don't say anything. The squeaky wheel is the one that gets the grease. So we definitely need to get our voices heard by going to Olympia, by continuing those lobby day efforts, by going to the Board of Trustees meetings, and by electing representatives that are willing to speak up for you, and even you yourself as a student joining the committees and going to these Board of Trustees meetings.
Okay, starting with the, okay, all right, and then one last question, starting with the candidate on the left. This year, Eastern was recognized among other university leaders and legislators for their impressive and active participation on the decision-making process regarding the budget cuts we just spoke of. What would you do as president to continue this legacy?
What I could do actually is like communicating with as much group in this university, and like we could also take advantage or take some of the like advices from the other universities or from the other states who have like a good, they deal good with the intuition and this stuff. So one of the ideas came up today when I was talking with Washington Student Association. They told me that it's a good way that to speak with all the different groups in campus and create like a good plan and present it there and have a good way like to manipulate and communicate with the senators and other people and the Board of Trustees and other areas to convince them to make the intuition as it is.
4 minutes for reply.
So I think the best way is to keep working with the WSA, and for those who don't know, that's the Washington Student Association. They're a lobbying group for students all across the campus, and we are a member of that. And I think continuing those efforts is really going to help. One thing that I did with a few other members of ASW is we went to WSU over spring break and convinced them, or at least attempted to convince them to rejoin the WSA chapter, which will help us give us credibility. It brings more funds and it brings more student voices into the organization. I think that's going to really help us this year. Also, with that, as being the finance vice president, currently this year we had $4,500 budgeted for a lobby day. We are close to $9,000 now, and I'm really excited about that because I don't like to lose. And Central actually brought the highest number of students to lobby day, and we were second highest, and I don't like being second. So we now have more money and more funds to bring more students and to make a bigger presence on the Olympia this next year, because we saw how well it worked this year. So I want to continue that going forward.
And 2 minutes for reply.
Actually, I think also about what is actually related to intuition is making our voice heard. So if the student didn't say anything, if they didn't like ask for their rights, if they didn't say that this is not okay, we don't accept this, so no one will really like know about the problem. So we really need to empower them. We really need to like work that and give them also the opportunity to see what the ASEWU could do for them and celebrate the smallest victories they do, like this stuff about the budget cutting and about this stuff. We didn't, not all the students know about it because there wasn't like a big victory or a big celebration for it. So what I will do in this situation, in case we had this issue, I must bring it to the student. We must like let everyone know about it. And if we make the victory and we were like #1, we're gonna let everyone know about it.
Okay, and then each candidate, starting with the candidate on the right, will have 2 minutes to summarize their campaign, why students should vote for them.
Okay, so I'd like to clear a few things up. First of all, I am not sponsored by Pepsi or Mountain Dew, just so everyone knows, despite what you may have heard. But again, I'm currently the member of ASW. I'm the finance vice president, so I feel like I have a lot of experience to offer. I understand the ins and outs, the inner workings of how ASW operates. I understand the role of the president, and I had the great honor of being mentored and the chance to learn from Oscar, who is a great president. Also, I have a lot of personal goals. Some of them were already mentioned by other candidates, such as like a text message-based system. Doing a textbook-to-textbook student kind of sales program on a website was another one of them. The House of Representatives for all the clubs, student leaders, as well as, which she's already said, there's a smaller organization for the different international students. These are some of the goals that I really have and I really want to get implemented. And I just really encourage you to go out and vote on May 8th. Regardless of who it's for, voting is your right, and I really encourage you to take advantage of it.
And 2 minutes for you.
Actually, I like this position because I want to make sure that the people know that we are capable of doing that. Plus, I have really new ideas and new perspective for Eastern. I don't see Eastern as a place where each student is coming only to take what the teacher said and go back home. No, it's like a life experience. And Eastern have more than 2,000 international students, plus the diverse groups, plus the different cultures, different religion, different authentic groups. So most of the students live here like alone without sharing this experience. And sharing this experience will really like make Eastern a global university. And I may not have the same experience as Caleb with ASEWU, but like I have a very similar experience in a leading position with the Saudi club. And we like really started from the scratch, and we started in a different culture, and English is not our first language. Plus, we make amazing job, and we reach many people as we could, but we still lack from the minority groups. Thank you.
Okay, let's give a round of applause for the executive session.